bet a lot of you don't know that the Department of Treasury Bureau of Fiscal Services is the one that issues the IRS tax refunds, not the IRS. And my name is JV, and I've been an IRS contracted phone assistant for over 12 years. And I'm going to do a series called Tax Talk and Hustle, which I give y'all tax tips plus promote my small business, Mike Alexander. Now, Congress granted the Bureau of Fiscal Services to be able to offset your refund or your overpayment through the Treasury Offset Program, which they're able to take your refund or offset your refund due to either past child support, past non-tax debt like your student loans, your state tax liabilities, liquid in that, or even unemployment. So if you or your spouse have any of the debts that I just mentioned, make sure you contact the Bureau of Fiscal Services to see if there was a tax refund offset put against your account due to these debts. And I'll put their phone number right here. And again, I'm going to stress, call Bureau of Fiscal Services, not the IRS. Now, my tip is always call the Bureau of Fiscal Services before the tax season begins. Not during, not after, but before the tax season begins. You call them to see if you have a tax refund offset on your account to make sure they don't take your taxes. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Once they have a tax refund offset on your account, once you do your tax return and they take it, you're not going to get your refund back. Unless there was an error on whoever had the agency that took your debt, then you'll be able to get it back. But 9 out of 10, you're not going to get it back. And for my joint return filers, if you know your spouse has one of these past due debts, make sure you send in the form 8379, Enter Spouse Form. That form is used to compute your share of the refund when all or part of the refund was applied to your spouse, like I said, tax debt. Okay, so you want to make sure you do that electronically, whatever tax software you use, or if you paper file, use that form 8379. It may take a little longer for you to get your refund, but at least you're proactive. At least we know, okay, you're claiming that ahead of time. Versus you already filed, and then they say no, you get a letter later, and it's a lot of back and forth, and it takes way longer to get your refund. Be a little bit more proactive. Use the form 8379. That's a little tip. Now, for the taxpayers who are experiencing financial hardship, a lot of y'all don't know about the offset bypass refund. And the OBR, like it says up top, allows for overpayment that will otherwise be applied to a prior federal tax liability to instead be refunded. But if you have a federal tax liability that you do not owe money to another federal or state agency or experiencing a financial hardship, the IRS may forego the refund offset and issue the refund under OBR procedures. But remember, the IRS can only forego amounts that would have been offset to a federal tax debt. Now, if you're going to do an offset bypass refund, timing is critical. Like it says above, an OBR is generally only possible before the IRS applies a refund to another tax liability. Once the refund has been offset, it's too late to request an OBR. Also, an OBR might only be issued to relieve a specific hardship, so like utility disconnection or eviction. And you must establish the amount of hardship because the IRS will only bypass enough of the offset to alleviate the hardship. Now, I must mention, there is no specific form used to request an offset bypass refund. So make sure you call the Bureau of Fiscal Services before your refund is offset so you can decide whether or not to request an OBR while you still have time. And again, the OBR is not something that a lot of people tell you about, but once the amount of the hardship is established by the IRS, will only issue a refund up to the amount of necessary to alleviate the hardship amount. For example, if a taxpayer has a refund of $4,000 and the outstanding of federal tax liability exceeds that amount, under known procedures, the IRS will apply the total refund toward the outstanding federal tax liability, leaving no overpayment available to be refunded. But the OBR procedure will provide immediate relief to those taxpayers experiencing financial hardship. If the taxpayer establishes a hardship of $1,000,